Hey, Melanie.
Hey.
Have you ever thought about how people actually bring the new year in right?
No. Why? Do you have thoughts on that?
Do I ever? And that is what I think we should talk about today.
So here we are, a week into 2021, and as we all know, 2020 ended with dumpster fire effigies and people basically blaming the entire year for bad fortune that happened. Yeah, there was an entire town out in New Mexico that literally had a dumpster fire as a town on New Year's Eve.
Yep.
And right here in New Hampshire, there was a town that burned all of their 2020 calendars because 2020 is to blame for all of the bad things.
Yep.
But we're 7 days into 2021 and it's not looking much better.
Nope. So what is the point of all that? I guess it's that how do you usher the new year in correctly? How do you usher a new year in?
It's not by burning dumpster fires?
No. As a matter of fact, I think what we're trying to get at is there is no ushering the new year in the right way. You live in the moment that you live in, right? And you make the choice to make things better or see things in a better way or continue to move forward even when they're bad. It's such a victim mentality that we are living in this country right now. It doesn't matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. It doesn't matter your background or your gender or your ethnicity. We are living in such a victim mentality. And this just speaks to it. The burning of calendars or the burning of having a dumpster fire. Now, we work with people in recovery and often, or we work with people who have experienced trauma. And often they will write out those traumas or those, the things they're addicted to or the bad things, and they'll burn them.
Yeah, it can be very cathartic.
It can be very cathartic and it can be very healing because it is letting go of something that has happened in the past. The problem is we're taking that mentality and we're trying to blame time or a human construct. Calendars are a human construct. We're trying to blame our misfortune and the bad things that are happening on that. And then we're trying to burn something to remove it when what we're really symbolically burning is time, which is always now. We're always living in the now. You can't burn that away. So living in this victim mentality is incredibly, it's unhealthy. And it comes from living in a world of fear or shame or guilt or, nothing can get better mentality unless something comes in and changes it for us, like 2021, which so far 2021 hasn't looked any different. When the ball dropped and it went from 2020 to 2021, COVID didn't go away, political unrest didn't go away.
People didn't start treating each other magically better.
Right. And that's really what it's about. It's about the decency that we are missing. We are so angry about things because we feel like things are out of our control, which is why people are so mad at 2020 and why people are going to be so mad at 2021 until things start to change. And 2020 and 2021 don't have anything to do with it.
No,
Nothing.
You touched on it. Like they felt like they were out of control, but they are in control of themselves.
Absolutely.
As individuals.
Yep. We are seeing people allowing themselves to be manipulated, not necessarily by political parties or people in power or the things that they follow. They're being manipulated by their own emotions. I guess it's hard to really explain and put a finger on the pulse of it all, and that's why it's so hard to change people's mentality about it. It's not like you can just say, here's what's happening, here's how to fix it. It's not a math equation. This is the human condition, where emotions and thought and misinformation and good information and fact and lie all get intertwined into what comes out of us. And it starts with the mentality that waiting for a moment in time or waiting for something to happen is going to fix everything.
I think in part people want that because it's easier.
Yeah,
Like,
of
or the
course.
idea of putting the onus on something else to change things for you.
Right.
Because change is hard and uncomfortable, and it goes against the
Hard and
grain of
uncomfortable.
everything that our society
Right.
wants us to do.
Right.
You know, 'cause
Exactly. I mean, we're being taught from birth that we should be seeking comfort and be allowed to do what we want to do, and things like, if it doesn't feel good, why bother? Don't do it. Those are all incredibly unhealthy concepts. Forget about for community. They're really unhealthy for a community where people have to cohabitate together. They're really unhealthy for individuals, because typically what it means is we are seeking what feels okay in lieu of what is healthy. And waiting for the end of the year so we can burn a whole bunch of things. I'm not saying people who did that are wrong, or we're not calling them out and saying that they're... We don't want it to come across like that, but what we are saying is that is the typical mentality that we are all suffering from right now, and why things are just getting worse and worse. We are waiting for a time where things are just going to be better. We are waiting for somebody to come in and fix things for us.
I mean, we're waiting for a savior figure in a way. Like, I mean, I'm not getting political, but people are waiting for, well, we're gonna have a new president, everything's gonna be magically better. But that doesn't change the nation of people, you know. Like,
But that's people
yeah.
on one side.
Right.
And again, not getting political, it doesn't matter how we feel about whomever, but our current president, who has been president for the last 4 years, so many people expected him to come in and fix everything.
In the way they want it to be fixed.
In the way they want it to be fixed, right. So
Right.
there's one side who look at him as a savior, and now there's another side who look at the oncoming president as a savior, and none of that is accurate. Everything starts on a cellular, molecular level. It starts from the base. If we want to have a healthy society or community, we have to be healthy within the society and community. And that starts with not waiting for some moment in time for things to be better. It starts for not waiting for somebody to come in and say, here you go. I'll go back to the recovery example. Again, we work with a lot of people in recovery, and the folks in recovery who do really, really well and become really healthy humans again are the ones who put the work in to figure out how to be healthy. The ones who consistently relapse, who consistently find themselves in trouble, and again, there's no judgment in any of this, but the ones who consistently are stuck are the same ones who are angry at everybody for not fixing them, who say things like, it's my responsibility or some other facilitator's responsibility to make them understand how to be healthy. We can't do that. Donald Trump or Joe Biden or no one else is going to come in and make our community healthy. We have to do that. And so waiting for 2021 was just not the right answer, and that brings us back to our opening question. How do you usher the new year in right? You don't. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. It starts with you and your thoughts and your emotions and being healthy and looking for ways to be decent with everyone around you, regardless of their political, religion, orientation, any of that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're fighting against, is this victim mentality that has just been growing and growing and growing. Our lives are not that bad, folks. And yes, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed, a lot of social issues that need to be mended. And for some, it's literally life or death, right? And those individuals or those pockets of people we need to find ways to support. But if you look around, most of the anger I see on social media or in the supermarkets or outside at Dunkin' Donuts, I don't know if I can say that well, I'm sure I can. Most of the anger I see are not those marginalized populations. They're people who are angry that they're not the focus, I think, and that marginalized populations get some focus. I mean, by and large, most of the anger I see are affluent, white, middle-aged men and women, right? Who I know, most of them I know personally, are not struggling financially, are not, poor and destitute, which I guess is the same thing.
It's what you were talking about earlier before we were filming about how there's like guilt and shame and things like that all contribute to creating fear.
Yes.
Which drives this need to go on social media and
be angry.
Right. Or be declaring how sorry or how just showing publicly how guilty you feel for whatever the scenario is, like, which also doesn't solve anything. It just makes maybe you feel better for a minute because you posted about how you feel so bad.
Right.
But posting on social media does not fix anything.
No, and feeling bad doesn't in and of itself fix anything, right? And it's, I say this anytime I talk about issues, I bring up the balance factor, the pendulum that swings. If we could find balance in things, I mean, that's what nature is about, that's what life is about, that's what all healthy things are about, finding a balance, homeostasis. And there's no balance in the people who go on social media and talk about how we all white folk need to feel guilty because we're all responsible. There's no balance in that. That's one end of the pendulum. And there's no balance in the other end of the spectrum where people come in and are just like really pissed that a white person would say that and say, I've done nothing wrong. I've never been a part of the problem. That's the other end of the pendulum. There's no balance in that. We've all been part of the problem somehow, and we all are a part of the solution. There's no room for ultimate guilt and shame, and no room for the ultimate denial of their part. We need to find a balance, and it
starts with finding balance within yourself.
Yes, and that's the whole point of why we're even doing this video. People need to find that balance within themselves, and if they find themselves really, really angry about things to the point where they're not willing to listen to another side, well, that's actually pretty scary. You can be angry, but you have to be angry and willing to listen to another side. Because maybe you might hear something that can help appease your anger or find some understanding in why people feel the way they feel, and then you can work towards changing that or meeting in the middle somewhere.
Right.
But if you just focus on things that are going to fuel your anger, your fear, your shame, if that's all you're focusing on, which is what a lot of people are doing, and they deny they're doing it, there's no hope for change.
That's just saying 2021 is saying to 2020, hold my
beer.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it even worse.
Yeah.
And
it's on the people.
Right.
It's on us.
All the issues that we're having are human issues, people issues, right? The calendar doesn't actually jump off the wall and smack us around and be like, hey, 2021's even stronger than 2020, so I'm going to hurt you even more. Like, that is just ridiculous. Yet people are willing to look at anything they can before they look inside themselves. And that is scary and sad. So
we're going to talk about that over the course of a video series.
Yes. Oh, good segue, because I totally forgot we were even supposed to do a segue. I just got into the musings of two.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
There's so much to talk about.
We're going to be posting some videos weekly where we get into some of the harder stuff and some lighthearted, goofy stuff because
that's just the way I roll.
Yeah.
And because life cannot always be seriousness and doom and gloom, and we have to fix this, we have to be able to laugh. We have to be able to find joy even when it's hard to find joy. So that's what this video series is really going to be about. It's going to be, it's going to kind of follow the flow of our Big Five curriculum, which is mindset, shelter, fire, water, and food. But it's not going to be really wilderness survival oriented. It's going to be everyday living skills oriented, everyday community building and self-worth and self-growth skills. And we think it's really important that we all kind of get in on this together. Oh, so segue. So what we want from you guys,
Yes.
is one, please subscribe, like, share, help us get this series out there. And then also, please send us your ideas for topics. Send us things you'd like us to touch on, things you'd like us to say, sort of. And please, I'm begging all of you, try your best not to be negative. I mean, if you really don't like something we're saying, please feel free to let us know publicly. You know, freedom of speech and all that. But try not to be really negative and toxic about it. Try not to be angry, because we're just people. We're all just people.
And we're just opening a conversation.
Yeah, we're trying to bring some open dialogue to anybody and everybody who wants to see some healing happen. So,
And it's not going to be easy healing.
no,
That's the thing. It's
I mean, it never is. Like, think about wounds or think broken bones. There's always like the healing process is always itchy and sometimes crusty and gross, and there's pain. Like, that's real life. This is real life. We have to stop just wanting things to magically be better. We have to be willing to put the work in and be uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is not being unsafe. We're not asking anybody to be unsafe or to put themselves in a place where they're really afraid, or you know, we're not asking people to deal with trauma through this video series. That's for people who are specialized in that. We're asking for people to just be willing to have the uncomfortable conversations without alienating or driving wedges between each other.
Yep.
That makes sense?
Makes sense.
Cool. Anything else you got to say?
No, I think that's it.
Yay.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, and offer us topics that interest you.
All right.
All right.
All right. How do we end this? We didn't
That's a
discuss
great question.
that. Should we like cheers or I don't know. Broken mug. I might break it more.
Yeah, she broke my mug.
I
She
did.
broke it.
I also bought the mug, so
So?
I can break it. I bought it.
That's not true. Yeah, we have to have like a closing thing. Now, we
Give
can
us
edit
suggestions
this.
for that.
Yeah, give us, how do we close these, and you know, be creative as long as it's appropriate and possible. Like, it could be as simple as stay fresh, cheese bags.
Oh,
Or
man, that's
I know,
yeah.
right? Or it could be I don't know, we could cut and then go out into the wilderness somewhere and do something absolutely epic and crazy.
I'll film it.
Yeah. Or it could be as simple as adding something new to the background or foreground display, or moving something. It doesn't matter. We need some sort of thing that we do
To sign off.
to sign off.
But for now, we should just sign off.
Yeah, we really should, because this is
Long.
dragging out. Yeah.
All right.
To 2020 and 2021 and 2022 all not mattering.